Team Canada, and the duo of Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson are entering Chicago, and they have had quite the track record together. The duo has advanced to the finals of 6 of their last 7 AVP tournaments together with 2 wins. So they won Miami with the season opener last year, and then won the season opener again this year in Huntington. So they have many miles under their belt, and Meg and I, we can break down our nitty gritty of it as we had Brandy and Melissa on our show, Grit Beach Volleyball. But you know who's gritty, Meg? It's Rodriguez and Urango.
Yeah, and we saw it in their opening match. This is match number 2 for both of these teams. So playing their second match of the day, you know, it's heating up here in Chicago at Oak Street Beach. Yeah, the wind's a little bit gusty here and there, 81 degrees, high humidity at 73%, a little bit of sprinkles here and there, no big deal, doesn't seem to be affecting the athletes. But this is going to be a battle. This is the winner's bracket still. We have not moved on. Neither of these teams have lost a matchup, and they have not yet faced off against each other at all, ever. So this is going to be a very big matchup here.
It is, and we're going to see insane, I'm predicting it right now, defensive plays. Urango was the defensive player of the Manhattan Open just 2 weeks ago, and we know that Humana-Paredes is back there running amok. But starting us off here in set number 1 is Melissa Humana-Paredes. Service line.
All right, here we go, ladies. Have a good match.
Serving into that seam, Urango is there. Nobody up, and it'll be a first ball put away from Geena Urango.
Down the middle goes the serve, but it's Geena Urango kicking out with a fast tempo set out to the pin, nicely executed by Toni. No block, getting that first opening kill. What a great play by her.
This is Urango's 74th AVP tournament. A seasoned veteran on tour.
That
and
seems
there you have it.
Impossible. She's so young.
She is young. She's only 35, stands at 5'11", hailing from Los Alamitos, California.
And we saw that same shot from Geena against her earlier matchup today. She loves that big sharp angle. I think it's going to feature again in this matchup. The same with that dig to transition onto attack. That fast dig from Geena right into the paws of Toni Rodriguez, and she puts it away.
They're so disciplined and dynamic on that transition play. It happens quickly. Teams really need to adjust. Humana-Paredes going up and over and able to find the sand, saying, okay, let's go.
Getting the jitters off. Not the best set there, not the best contact, but had great vision and patience to put it in that deep corner.
Yeah. Melissa and Brandy winning their first game earlier this afternoon in 2 against Furch and Shaw. Topspin serve at Rodriguez. Rodriguez goes high line and finds high hands with it. Rodriguez, an alumna to LSU and a native of Louisiana, stands at 6'1" and absolutely uses that reach to her advantage.
It was a nice attempt on Brandy to land quickly and make that turn. It was just out of reach, out of that block touch.
Rodriguez with the float serve. Challenging Brandy. That point is going to go out of bounds. Brandy's trying to see that high line. It was a great swing, Meg. An aggressive error.
Absolutely, and uncharacteristic of Mel and Brandy's current performance. They've been pretty dialed in and lethal with execution lately.
A stuff block from Rodriguez, a big momentum point for her, and it is a 6-1 start for Urango and Rodriguez, both showcasing a grin there early on in this first set.
Yeah, if you're going up 6-1 against Olympic silver medalists from Paris, of course you're going to have that grin. You're working hard, you're doing all the right things, and you're not making any errors. That is that flow state everyone seeks for and wants to have. Let's see if they can continue it here.
Rodriguez again with her float serve. Challenging the sideline of Melissa. It's going to go a bit wide. Melissa here back at the service line. Standing at 5'9" out of Toronto, Ontario. Onto action, it'll fall up and over that block. A quick side out for Urango and Rodriguez.
And that was a really nice time to use it specifically for Geena, because it's usually Toni going with the on-twos. A little standing and a left-handed contact caught everybody off guard.
Set from Urango. Rodriguez takes a look high line, and they look very in system, Meg.
They're completely dialed in right now, and they are hot and pushing the pace of this matchup. Mel and Brandy looking a little bit off in their normal touches and plays.
Forcing a timeout early on in set number 1. It's an 8-2 lead for Urango and Rodriguez. We know that they've been disciplined players. We've seen it all season long, but right now, Meg, they're really finding their rhythm.
I mean, completely. Look, we're looking at the stats leaderboards. Geena Urango has 300 attacks, right? Her kill percentage, though, is also on the top. She's 5th overall with 146. So her percentage is extremely high. She's dialing in the top of the charts there on offense. Not to mention her digs. She's 7th overall, Mel's 8th overall. So it's a high defensive game and a high transition put away for Geena Urango. We talked about it earlier in today, and that is the glue of this team. I also like their unique partnership of the dig to on two in transition. They execute it beautifully. It's kind of that symbiotic relationship that they just have this feeling with each other, and it works perfectly for them.
Yeah, Rodriguez putting up that great block for Urango to dance around back there, averaging 5.1 digs per set at the MBO. Gave her that Best Defender award there for that tournament. She looked for that sideline, but just went a bit out of bounds, trying to continue to apply that service pressure on the Olympians. With the serve. On Urango, who runs behind. High line, it'll go on Urango running behind.
I would love to know, Vic, the stat and side out percentage of Geena Urango running a back set, because she's got that sharp angle dialed in, but she also has that long line also dialed in with that pressure of that blocker moving right from left.
Yeah, she feels really comfortable right now running behind. We're actually seeing her do it more often than going in front for their offense. But an on-two option from Mel and Brandy will side them right out.
Yeah, Mel, this. Yeah, everywhere. Come on.
Bringing Mel back to the service line.
Mine. I go.
Mel dug up. Urango takes a look and cuts it in. Side out for the once USC alumna and the first ever beach volleyball.
What a put away.
Yes, a great play from Urango. She was the first ever to receive a beach scholarship in NCAA volleyball. She did 4 years indoor at USC and took that grad year on the beach team. Was an all-academic senior for the women of Troy. On to Brandy. Extended rally into that coffin corner. Great hand-to-ball contact there from Brandie Wilkerson.
Yeah, not looking as sharp as they were in the Olympics. And actually, Brunner popped into mind when I'm watching Geena Urango and how her performance was at the Olympics as well for Switzerland, just moving all over fluidly. Mel and Brandy have to pick it up just a little bit with their precise execution here.
Rodriguez hits it sharp inside that block, but no. Great play there from Rodriguez. And they are pulling away here in set number 1. Urango's there. Runs behind. Picked up by Mel, who puts it away in transition. What a play for the Canadians.
It's a nice peel dig or pool dig there by Toni Rodriguez. She just had another second to get a step farther before stopping. So a lot of times we talk about when that blocker is peeling off or pulling off, when that athlete goes to boom boom on their step close to hit, that's when you need to stop.
Great shot there from Urango, being able to side them right out and double the score of Mel and Brandy. 12 serving 6.
That's got to feel great as a team taking on the, silver medalists from the Olympics in Paris.
Melissa takes a look, being able to put that ball away. Melissa and Brandy, they have a long track record together. They competed at university together. And as Brandy shared on our show Grit to Mel, it was Mel's father who made waves in volleyball, going to the Olympics and coaching, that recruited Brandy and said, hey, come and try out. My daughter Melissa is playing. Why don't you come try out for this team? And the rest is history.
Okay, all right here.
13 serving 7. Rodriguez. Brandy
nice
on
put away on 2. Sorry, Vic. We both love seeing that from Brandy, and that's the dynamicism that you see from this pair. And when Brandy pulls that out, she can be quite unstoppable because she's really targeting those perimeters and sidelines.
Yeah, she most definitely is, and quite the lead here. 13-8. Meg, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, Rodriguez and Urango is just putting the pressure on. They are not making errors. They're playing in their system. Geena is a magnet to the ball. She's either, Toni's either setting things up really, really well, and or Geena's right on that ball with a really nice read. Strategically, they're staying very disciplined and calling their blocks and their defensive patterns. So strategically, that's working very well. And Mel and Brandy just look a little off, not as sharp, not as laser focused on executing or terminating that ball. And it's not that they're trying it, they're not seeing, they're not having the vision. They're worrying a little bit more about their own game on their own half. They're making great touches, but they're keeping those rallies alive a little bit too long.
Great insight there, Meg, as we continue here at the classic and traditional Open Labor Day weekend event. Chicago trails only Manhattan on the list of most frequented stops in the AVP history. Both of these teams want to hoist that trophy. Urango, it'll fall for Urango. Great side out.
And that's a nice shot there by Geena. And she's being so precise and dialed in, and everything is working right for her right now. It's a great opening set for them against the silver medalists.
bringing Urango back to the service line. There was a bee that seemed to have been in her face. That ball going just a bit long. Bringing Brandy Wilkerson to the service at 5'11", out of Toronto, Canada. Brandy was born in Switzerland. Her mom's Swiss, her dad is from Texas, and then raised in Canada. Point going to Brandy and Mel as that ball is out of bounds.
Vic, let's talk about the prize money and the purse on the table here. $300,000 overall, $150K per gender. So it is a big pot these ladies are playing for, not only for a pass into the league, which Mel and Brandy have already secured, but also a cash pot.
Ball in favor of Urango and Rodriguez. Yeah, a lot on the line here. Trophy, some checks, and can you solidify your spot if you're Rodriguez and Urango into the AVP league? We know Mel and Brandy did it by winning Huntington, but Rodriguez is here to make waves and say, I am hungry for the league and I am hungry to win Chicago.
And I'm hungry to monster block. That's huge.
Yeah, entering Chicago, Rodriguez has played in 10 matches in the Heritage Series, and she has had 3 or more blocks in 5 of her 10 matches.
That's a really impressive stat. Those are big points, and big points at probably very significant times.
Yeah, those big momentum points that we see, those monster blocks, those aces, and if you're able to rack them up one at a time, good things tend to happen for you. But a 4-point lead right now for Rodriguez and Urango, with Melissa Humana-Paredes, the 2-time Olympian, with the serve.
Grab it.
Rodriguez clamped down by Brandy. Brandy only standing at 5'11". As hops, able to get up there, her arm span longer than her height. I was talking about it with her the other day. I think she said her arm span is around 6'1" or so gives her a couple inches. Rodriguez going against the flow, thumbs down on that ball to side out.
And right now there's a little bit of a favor on the hitting percentage for Rodriguez and Urango, sitting at a 6.32. Mel and Brandy overall are at a 2.14. So offensively, turning up the heat a little bit is what's needed with Mel and Brandy.
You have highlights. Yeah, baby, so good. Let's go. High five.
This is Melissa and Brandy's first tournament back after winning the silver medal in Paris. Doing it only a few weeks ago on August 9th, the day after my birthday.
Are you sure that's the ball? Absolutely sure that ball's out. I see some of it. No, that's sand. That's what.
Taking a look at this replay here, what a nice movement Toni Rodriguez is making to ensure that ball goes out of bounds.
Yeah, great follow there from her, being able to stay patient. That's one thing you got to do. You have to follow that ball out of bounds. Melissa and Brandy are chipping away. Only a 2-point lead for Rodriguez and Urango. Now a 3 with an ace from Rodriguez.
Extremely impressive start here from Rodriguez and Urango. Absolutely flawless opening set for them against the Olympic silver medalists.
Rodriguez with the serve. Placement, not power for Melissa there.
Come on, this one here.
And you like if you look at her big step close, she's able to launch up and over, has nice vision that sets off the net far enough for her to see the defender and notice where that open shot is.
Nice vision, as you mentioned. Rodriguez. Placement, not power. Side switch here as Urango takes a moment to dust off some sand, and we have our first possible set point for Rodriguez and Urango. 20 serving 15.
Good.
Urango with the and point going to Melissa, and Brandy being able to find a side out. And it's Brandy Wilkerson walking back to the service line. A great option play there. Good tight pass from Melissa, forcing that option. Ball going a bit long, and it's Melissa and Brandy creeping their way back here in set number one. Urango and Rodriguez looking for just one side out.
They're not silver medalists for a reason. They're used to being down and out and coming back and fighting for every point as well.
Picked up by Mel. Blocked by Rodriguez to take set number one. 21-17.
Absolutely epic performance coming out of the gates on match number two for Rodriguez and Urango. They're playing very buttoned up in their style and in system for themselves. Geena all around, Toni on the net, completely dominating on defense, and also quality digs that they can transition into points.
Quality digs will win championships, that's for sure. And Urango just seems to be locked in on her defense. I mean, she has the experience. This is her 74th AVP that she's played in. And we're really seeing it right now. We know that this team has been able to find their rhythm and find ways to win in the Heritage Series. So it's been good fun watching them, and we can expect Melissa and Brandy to come out here in set number two and make some waves, right, Meg?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're not going to settle for that. They're Olympians for a reason. They battle. Okay, they came out maybe a little bit flat. The first 10 points weren't their best. Now they have to go to work, and they have to win in 3. But also, Geena and Toni have been playing great in the Manhattan Beach Heritage Series. Just recently, they took a 3rd overall, coming in as the 8th seed. That's a huge result for them. And then earlier in the Huntington Beach Heritage Series, they took a 9th. You know, so these are big results for this team, who are sitting pretty comfortably qualifying for the league this fall, and they're putting the pressure on.
Pressure indeed. Set number 2 here on court 1. I'm Victoria Dennis alongside Meg Bergdorf. Thanks for joining us here at AVP Chicago, Oak Street Beach, as Rodriguez and Urango take set number 1 from the reigning silver medalists at the 2024 Olympics. Rodriguez with a first ball.
I love how she just steps inside with that dynamic feet to ball inside. That set was blown a little bit away and leaves that hand nice and high.
Joust blocked. Rodriguez taking away that space again. Just a force to be reckoned with at the net.
Such a nice touch from her, and I know she trained a lot down in Brazil, so picked up a few different dynamic movements along that net for those blocking motions.
Point in favor of Wilkerson and Melissa, as Melissa tools those high hands. Wilkerson here with the serve. Serving on Rodriguez, who runs behind. Melissa's there.
Right, left.
Comes down the middle, read by Urango. Cut shot, picked up by Melissa. There for a stop block. What a play from Rodriguez and Urango. Both Humana-Paredes and Urango are making digs, but Toni Rodriguez is shutting down everything at the net.
Yeah, she's definitely a force to be reckoned with up there. She puts up a good block, but here's the thing. She sets a really good block. Her lineups are very precise, very calculated, very dialed in. She doesn't leave much opportunity for gaps.
On the pin, tooling high hands is Melissa Humana-Paredes, siding her team out. Melissa with the serve. On Rodriguez, over on 2, read by Melissa.
Line! No! What a pickup. Beautiful.
Beam, just a bit long, is an attack error from Melissa.
And Geena got away with that, standing over with the lefty on 2, but Mel wasn't having it for a second time, so I don't think we're going to see that shot another time here in this matchup.
Putting the pressure at the net. Going. Urango carving up that sideline for a 5-2 switch.
And she's just so fit and dynamic right now. Very agile on the sand. You see her change of direction 1, change of direction 2 on the attack. Really nicely done. You see they're talking there to their coach, Carissa Cook. Has helped many of athletes along the way, and it's great to have a coach in your box.
Quite the athlete herself. Won many a tournaments on the AVP.
Line! Beautiful.
Point in favor of Brandy and Melissa. Melissa waiting to delay on that high line, and it's out of reach for Urango.
And that's a nice shot by Mel. She's trying to go for power at first, trying to have the little chippy shots. This time's a nice solid high line, up and over the block and moving with some pace. What a monster block by Mel. That's a huge touch. Little bit of a trap set, dying in. Toni's trying to save it, but into the big bear paws of Brandie Wilkerson it goes.
Yeah, that's the momentum play that they were looking for with Brandy. Urango. Back-to-back blocks for Wilkerson. Taking charge of that net.
Yeah, Geena and Toni are going to have to look to pull that set off just a little bit so that Geena has that spacing and that vision. Same with Toni. Brandy looks smaller, but man, she can jump and really penetrate and push those hands over the net.
Right now, Mel and Brandy finding their rhythm, and for the first time in this ball game, a 1-point lead. Top spin serve from the lefty.
That's a really nice shot by Toni Rodriguez there. Clean and simple play, high pass, high set, step in, draw the block with you, up and over on that high line.
Yep, well mapped out there from Rodriguez. bringing her to the service line. Mel passing outside of her body and then going back down high line for Melissa Humana-Paredes.
So that's 2 in a row now for Mel that she's found success over that high line with that off-tempo shot. So they're going to have to look to strategically play around that because she's hitting and siding out that shot very well.
And it is now a 2-point lead. 8 serving 6. Melissa and Brandy finding their rhythm. It's their 3rd season on the AVP tour as a pair, and they are 29 and 11 on tour. So they've advanced to 6 of their first 7 AVP finals tournaments. They want another one here. Fast to the line as Rodriguez puts it away.
And that's the same shot that we saw from her earlier as well. Nice pass. She's passing dimes right into the middle of the court. Geena lifts her up a little bit more inside. She kind of sells that outside approach, has that big dynamic inside step close and goes back over high line.
Line! Way better!
Play there, bringing Brandy back to the service line. Lifted set from Brandy. Melissa seeing Urango move, carving up that cut shot. And a first ball put away for Rodriguez. Just keeps unleashing on that ball.
That was seriously a very fierce swing there by Toni Rodriguez. Hard, fast, whips that hand into her left pocket. Really nicely executed by her.
Just adding to the list of the Ragin' Cajuns here on tour. Many Louisiana natives. High over the block, and it'll fall from the.
That shot right there for me is the hardest to execute and also the hardest to defend, because you have to sell it so much so that the defender holds, but also you have to hit it precisely far enough away from the blocker and too short for the defender.
Melissa and Brandy creeping away here in set number 2. See Melissa make great moves on defense, picking up more balls here. How she was awarded in 2019 Best Defender and Newcomer of the Year. She is no longer a newcomer, and she is a 2-time Olympian.
It's a big stretch of the match here for Rodriguez and Urango, because it's within 2 points, but you cannot give Mel and Brandy more than 2 points. So for me, right here is a really tough point. Try to win this one with an ace, get a block, or pick up a dig. This is a big point for me.
Urango crushes it. Mel is there. Again. Urango will double down to the angle, and with it, take a point, sending us into the technical timeout. So 11-10, same score at technical as we had in set number 1. Meg, what are we seeing here in set number 2?
I mean, for me, that was a must-win point, and very hard to do when you're on the serving side of things. And they had 2 opportunities. Geena capitalized on the second one, and I feel like they're back. The foot came off the throttle just a little bit there for Geena and Tori. They're having a chat there with Carissa, their head coach, because they have it. They have them beat. They have to stay proficient. They were making a few unforced errors earlier on in set number 2, and they had the momentum. They pulled the foot off the gas just a little bit. I think they can still find it. This is the middle of the match now, which is a really important time to stay focused and technically sound, because this is the meat. This is the meat of the hamburger.
Yeah, it really is. And they're wanting all the meat, making it a double-double maybe, but Mel and Brandy have found themselves back-to-back times here in Chicago. The last 2 times they've been here, they've taken a 2nd place. So they want that trophy here in Chicago, and they want to win 2 out of the 3 heritage events. Melissa with the pass. Making that cut shot is Mel.
And that's a really nice hand-on ball from Mel. Goes in to sell it, even that high line, because she's been successful. You saw Geena release. I don't want to say cheap, but anticipate going to that high line because Mel scored and she hadn't scored on a cut. So great job by Mel.
So good.
Rodriguez being steady with a first ball side out. Teams applying that service pressure. Back and forth here, splitting it between the 2 of them, but Rodriguez steady. Point to Melissa and Brandy. Mel going high.
Yeah, Mel, I got this.
Hands to that block.
One. Yes, Toni.
Up over.
It's a really nice shot by Toni Rodriguez, having a good court awareness and vision of the opponent. Didn't have to be a hard shot, but up and over that block and find that open sand. That was a great termination ball.
Urango here. Can they win this in 2, or will it go 3?
The winner of this matchup will move on. Will move on tomorrow to Stadium Court and take on Chang and Hughes. Could it be an Olympian matchup? We'll have to see here how this set number 2 goes.
Lefty topspin at Urango. And high line is Urango hitting at the blocker who pulled.
Today for sure is Geena Urango's day. She's playing very, very well overall. A great pass there and transitions it down the line. Nicely done.
Wilkerson to the pin. Lefty, Urango's there. It's a tight one, it'll go. On 2, placement not power for Wilkerson. A scramble play for Rodriguez and Urango.
That is a nice look by Brandy. I mean, she's in the air, changes direction. She wanted to hit that, saw the diving block being late on the matchup, and just kind of swats it or slaps it into that line and puts that ball away.
Melissa with the serve. Urango with the side out. It looks like for a second there, Meg, did you see Rodriguez put her hand up?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. She's waiting.
They'll take the side out either way. Urango with the serve. High line. Urango's there. Oh, and puts it away.
That was an insane play.
It looks like they're looking for a net violation.
on the antenna. It's so hard to see from this angle. They're saying that it hit the antenna first. Hard angle for the up ref to see as well, even though it's right in front of him. If you've ever tried to referee on a ref stand, it's actually harder to see closer to you. I don't know why.
Well, that point will bring us to a tied ball game, 15 apiece, as the crowd continues to trickle in here and crowd around the courts here at Oak Street Beach. That serve going long, and maybe the volley gods were in favor there of Melissa and Brandy. Who knows if it touched the antenna?
It's a great equalizer. Vic, I wonder if other sports have the concept of the volleyball gods, because we really rely on it a lot to prove things.
Ed Ratledge really leaned into that. Brandy here with the serve. An aggressive swing from Rodriguez, but it's just wide.
And I like that she changed it up. She's been working that high line. You saw, you know, Mel had been baited. She's scored a good few points over the block and down the line. So they gave up that sharp angle and that cut shot. And this time, Toni Rodriguez has a hitting error. She had it open, just didn't execute that.
Yeah, here in the second set, Mel and Brandy hitting 412, Rodriguez and Urango batting 300. Both teams managing to keep putting balls away. Urango with 4 digs in the second set, Melissa with 3. 2 blocks apiece for both of their blockers. So the ball game statistically seems pretty evenly matched at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, you know, this is either of these teams' games to have. They're pushing the pace now, Mel and Brandy, what they're used to. They're a little bit more settled, a little bit more in system. Both teams, for me, are becoming a little bit more predictable of how and where they're scoring because they've done it a few times now. So I anticipate both teams to make a small shift strategically and show maybe a different shot or come, let's say, out of the middle offensively, trying to move that around ever so slightly for a different look.
Urango. There.
Coming. Yeah!
Urango again. Oh, and it won't go. Point to Melissa and Brandy.
And that's a little bit of the risky run when you're playing this defensive style that Geena and Toni have. The kind of dig forward tight to the blocker rather than kind of that lifted dig off the net. And we actually have seen it work out very well for Toni and Geena most times.
An ace serve for Brandy down the line. What an ace.
And if you've been following Brandy along after the last few years, a total shift in her game is her serving. She's an absolute weapon on the service line. It used to be much more error over ace, and it's very noticeably dialed in now.
Okay, our side right now.
Right, go there on that block, bringing them within 3. We can see she barely got. Brandy saying, okay, yeah, I touched it. There we can see in the replay.
Mel and Brandy hitting a 3-6-1 overall here in set number 2, a 4-4-4. And Geena and Toni overall 4-3-2 in set number 2, a 3-1-8.
Great play there. Brandy, and they're well on their way to push this game to a 3-set match.
And again, playing for a pretty big purse, $300K on the table for the entire tournament, $150K per gender. So that's a big prize purse that these athletes are vying for in this winner's bracket.
Another possible set point for Melissa and Brandy. It's Urango with the serve. out of system. Brandy, no, buddy up and puts it away, ending us into overtime here on court number 1.
That looks like they drew that up in practice and have repped that out so many times because that was beautifully executed. Mel stayed super chill, flipped her hips, moved out of bounds, gave a call, and Brandy came in. Probably a 75% swing, not her hardest, but a lot of control on that ball.
Yeah, what a second set for the Canadian duo. They're able to find their rhythm there. So 21-17, 21-17, 2 sets in a row. It was a big lead for Urango and Rodriguez in the first set, doubling the score even. They led 12-6, but then Melissa and Brandy found their rhythm there at the end of set 1, pushed it into set 2, point for point battle, and then a big push in set number 2. So it'll be interesting to see if either of these teams adjust their offense or defense coming into set number 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they've found some success, like we mentioned a little bit ago, in what they've been doing. Now they're exploring the other shots that haven't been going down earlier, and they're starting to work. So now things are opened up just a little bit, but it's amazing to watch all of these ladies play. We have 3 Olympic teams on the women's side. We have Mel and Brandy, Sarah and Kelly, and Kristen and Taryn. It's absolutely the best volleyball that you can see, and it's happening right here at Oak Street Beach.
And there has never been more on the line at Oak Street Beach as an exciting week as the path to the AVP League ends in Chicago. Here, the athletes will have final opportunity to battle their way into the top 8 to earn their league positions and into the draft. It's a overtime ball game here on court number 1. I'm Victoria Dennis alongside Meg Bergdorf, and it's Urango with the first serve.
Yeah, you have highlight.
Brandy running behind high line. It's out of bounds. Point Urango and Rodriguez.
And you can feel the pressure mounting here. And I know that we were talking about, oh, what's that like when it goes to the league and it's matches to 15 points? Well, this is exactly it. This is what it's made for. This is the tiebreaker. This is 15 points. There's no room to catch up. There's no burger in the middle of the hamburger buns. It's all smushed together with the smash burger.
It is, and it's going to kick off the league September 14th at the UCLA Tennis Center, where you will see Mel and Brandy in the league. What city? We've yet to know because the draft hasn't happened yet. But will Rodriguez and Urango solidify their spot even more right now into the league? The league is set to deliver an exciting 8-week regular season with a championship at the end. Tickets are going. Grab yours now over on avp.com. Into the net is Rodriguez. And a point to Mel and Brandy, 2 apiece. The AVP will release when the draft is after the Chicago Open. So what a block from Brandie Wilkerson, shutting down that net, showing us how they won silver in Paris.
What a monster block from Brandie Wilkerson. Look at this deep load right here on the lineup and fast hands to ball with a little bit of a redirection. Nobody's covering that ball. It's coming out of her hands way too fast.
Wilkerson with the serve. On Urango.
And that's another big point for Brandie Wilkerson, just tallying up those block stats.
Brandie again with the serve. Rodriguez takes it this time. Nobody up, and that ball goes long out of bounds, and a timeout is called. 5-2. So a couple unforced errors here early in the third set. 3 attack errors will send Rodriguez and Urango into their dugout.
Yeah, and again, this team is very evenly matched. So a 3-point spread, that's a lot. I'm glad they took a timeout. They needed to take that timeout because if not, it can just slip away and you're never going to get it back. Overall, these teams are very well matched evenly. 375 is Mel and Brandy's team hitting percentage. 354 is Toni and Geena's. Overall, 5 blocks for Brandy, 4 for Toni. You know, the digs are pretty equal. Mel at 7, Geena at 8. So these teams are very evenly matched. The small difference is those unforced errors. So keeping that ball alive and in play and finding that open sand is going to be extremely important here. They've been working Geena and found a little bit of success pushing her to her sideline on that serve receive. I think they've had better success staying on Toni with a block. So let's see what they do here out of this timeout.
Serve top spin at Rodriguez. Yeah! Another block from Brandy Wilkerson, running away with the third set.
And that's why you see it putting pressure on Toni Rodriguez. Brandy feels very dialed in that matchup. She's in her zone. That's 3 back-to-back for her here in set number 3.
Since the start of the 2023 season, entering into here, Wilkerson has averages 3 or more blocks in 18 of the 33 matches she has played.
Right now she has 6.
Adding on there.
Just an extra few, just in case the stat wasn't high enough.
Exactly. Taking a look, Rodriguez is there. Over on 2, it'll fall. And it's a 4-point lead for the silver medalists.
Currently, Brandy stands at 4th overall in the AVP on blocks with 26, only to trail behind Kelly Chang, Taryn Cloth, and Kylie DeBerg, all just a few above her.
Melissa with the serve. Puts the pressure on Urango.
Let's go!
And he earns a block touch to side her team out. The fans loving this action here on court number 1.
It's a really nice use of that high pokey, but again, set going a little too tight that Geena can't get a good heavy swing on that ball.
Rodriguez into the middle. Brandy's there.
Come on, up and down, up and down. Why? Come on now.
Scramble play.
Whoa.
And it's Melissa firing away. What a play.
Here you go, everyone.
What a really nice swing there. Pushing it deep, catching Geena a little shallow on defense, but also a really well-trained execution of hand-on ball from Mel.
Lefty top spin. Going into the seam. Urango takes it, running behind. And finding a high line herself. It is hard to earn a dig there when you're pulling on defense.
And again, Urango running that back set. Her side out percentage has to be well over 75% when she runs the back set, which is just a great asset of hers to have as part of her game.
Yep, well executed. And it's a 9-point lead now for Melissa and Brandy.
It's interesting when Mel and Brandy run something that's out of system or Brandy's moving well over the half. She's really bringing it back completely to the other side of the court with confidence, but that's down to her preparation. You can see her hips and her chest are already facing her opponent. There's no twisting or torquing happening there.
Urango with the pass. And that on-2 play from Rodriguez will go. As mentioned before, Rodriguez has really found her rhythm here on the AVP tour and making waves with her partner this season.
And that play again is just that chemistry that we talked about earlier, Vic. It's so beautifully executed and it's not a style for everybody.
No. Rodriguez with the serve. Her debut came in Hermosa Beach in 2019.
Against none other than our own Victoria Dennis.
That's right, she did play against me in her first ever qualifier. And it's funny that made the notes here. Great play. Wilkerson, hand to ball, saying thank you very much. Urango. Melissa's there. Lifted set. Nobody to be found. Melissa screaming to the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely great play for her there. That kind of clinches it for me. 5 points is a big gap to come back to. It can be done, we don't want to say that, but against a silver medalist team from the Olympics, it looks like we're going to have an all-Olympian matchup in the winner's bracket tomorrow on Stadium Court.
An ace to run away with it is Brandie Wilkerson. Absolutely unleashing with nothing but confidence at the service line. Into the seam, will it be back-to-back aces for Brandie Wilkerson? Saying we sure did win some hardware at the 2024 Olympic Games.
She likes to do things in threes this game, Vic, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's one more ace in store from Brandie Wilkerson.
At Urango. Urango siding out, as she does very well.
And that's what happens when you take care of the passing. You talk to any coach, it's all about first ball contact, and that's the most essential. And they dialed in right there, and it just looked effortless.
Wide set from Rodriguez, but Urango being able to make that work. On-2, up and over to the sideline is Wilkerson, bringing us to a possible match point. Melissa Humana-Paredes with the serve. And just like that, Melissa Humana-Paredes and Brandie Wilkerson will continue on in the winner's bracket. What a ball game and match from Urango and Rodriguez. Meg, what did you see?
I mean, listen, Rodriguez and Urango are a great and solid team. They're putting stuff together that I don't see other teams putting together for that next level. They definitely deserve to be in the AVP league this fall, but you're playing two Olympians, and man, are they on fire. They have such great chemistry. They have a huge extended team around them, and you can just see the proficiency when they're a few points down. They know how to get out of it and just keep going.
Well, it's Melissa and Brandie, all smiles there as they cheer toward. fans, and they will see USA Olympians Sarah Hughes and Kelly Chang tomorrow at 12 p.m. on Stadium Court. It'll be the number 2 Chang Hughes taking on number 3 Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson in the quarterfinals. Until tomorrow, for Meg Bergdorf, I'm Victoria Dennis. Thanks for tuning in all day long and keeping it cool here on Oak Street Beach. We will see you all tomorrow.